Hey guys, my name is Pete Ciccone, IFBB Pro.
Massachusetts has turned out some great bodybuilders. What is it about that area that creates some impressive champions?
I think it's a number of things. It's really interesting. The work ethic is probably a big part of it. The close geographic location means everybody knows everyone or of everyone. But I think, when I look back at it, I live in California now, in San Diego, but growing up in Massachusetts, the weather, the climate, really, they force people to hustle. I remember when I was young, we'd be walking down the street and my mom would say, because my mom's from California, and she says, if we were in California, people on the street would stop and have a conversation because the weather allows that. But things are so cold half the time in Massachusetts that you have to hustle along and say, hey, nice to see you, we'll talk to you later, we'll see you tomorrow. One of the other things I think is, people from Massachusetts, we built the country. We started there. The country started there. America is a center. It's a country built on hustling, and I think that puritanical work ethic is a big part of success in bodybuilding, and it's a big part of what has led to many Massachusetts people coming out and being successful in our sport.
Okay, how did you get started in bodybuilding?
Really funny, I started playing Pop Warner football because I was small. I was a little bit young for my age when I started high school, so I was the smallest kid in the class, the runt, for most of my high school career. And playing football, the coach said, you need to lift some weights. I talked to my dad, he bought me some weights for one of my first Christmases, and he started showing me how to lift weights. I was a skinny kid, I was a short kid, but I was also soft and chubby, and I didn't like that about myself. My first bodybuilding magazine had Sean Ray on the cover. It was a Flex magazine from the year he won the Nationals. Off of the same newsstand, Muhammad Makawi on Ironman magazine were two of this beautiful physiques that just really hypnotized me because they were not humongous mass monsters, but they were really, really beautiful. And I figured if I'm not the biggest guy, and if I'm not the most powerful guy in class, but I learned this bodybuilding thing, maybe I can create a physique that's similar to these guys, where size is important, but balance and symmetry are too.
Okay. With over a dozen years of placing at national level shows, what led you to finally winning your pro card?
Oh man, it's a great question. I think they got sick of seeing me on stage and they said, "Here's your card, get the hell out of here." No, it's a matter of timing. I actually had been working with Hani Rambod for a long time, and Hani's a very, very good coach. And then, we've been knocking our heads against the wall at the USA's for some time. When we parted ways on a very friendly basis based on business, I ended up hooking up with Don Long. And Don has been my coach, helped me turn pro, and then has gone on to coach me along all my pro shows. And he's amazing. He's smart. He's intuitive. He's able to anticipate what my body needs. I love working with his program, and I love his demeanor. He's very mellow, very supportive, had a lot of faith. The first phone call I had with him, he said, Pete, you come from one of the best coaches in the world. He said, in order for you to do well with me, first of all, you have to know I believe in your physique. Second of all, you just have to listen to what I tell you. No questions. And I made a promise to himself and me that I would do that, and we've had very good success from me since then.
Okay. What is the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome?
You know what? I think when you look at genetics overall, and everyone uses that as an excuse or something, but like I said, even younger, I was a kind of a squatty kid. I was short, but I was small. So I wasn't the biggest kid, and I don't look at weights and muscles grow on me. I think it's why it's taken me 30 years to be able to be competitive as a pro bodybuilder. So I would have to say that my genetics are, although they're not a flawed, weak point, they're definitely not bonus. When you look at, I think, any elite level sport, IFBB pro bodybuilding competition is one of the elite sports. It's like a big genetic sifter. You got the guys that really work hard and bust their ass, and then you have the guys that have a little bit more genetics and bust their ass. So when you have gifts, Phil Heath said that. He said, they call Phil the gift. And he says, but gift and hard work and determination, you can't be beaten. So I think along those lines, in the genetic sifter, I fall somewhere in the middle, and I don't think I'm super gifted, but I'm not super cursed. So overcoming some of my genetic flaws has been something that I work on constantly. And the nice thing about bodybuilding, and this to be said for everybody out there who's doing it now, you can do it, and you just pay attention to all of the different details, and always watch your body and how it changes. And that's the things that I continue to do. And I think that's why I love the sport so much, because even now my body is evolving after 30 years in the sport, and I feel like I'm still getting better.
Okay. Well, what kind of benefits have you experienced from having been in the sport of bodybuilding?
Oh man, the values that you learn from bodybuilding. I think one of the coolest things in life and in our world, it's so chaotic, and there's often, for many people, a feeling of lack of control, lack of stability. You go to the gym, 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. The iron is always the iron, and it's never going to lie to you. It's a brutal truth sometimes. It tells you you're having an off day, or it tells you that the rest of the world is impacting your life and things feel heavy today. I think, but overall, the stability and the setting a goal and being able to work towards it, and then seeing the positive outcome, that's the most important thing, no matter what you do in life. But in bodybuilding, it comes. If you work at it, changes happen. If you pay attention to the details and you apply discipline and energy, changes happen. And that's probably one of the most powerful things that bodybuilding has given to me. I like to share that with my clients. During the recession in 2008, 2009, the world was falling apart for many people, San Diego especially. But our training business never slowed down. And I think the reason is people would come to the gym, beat to hell from the outside world. Financially, they're losing their house, they're losing their car. What made them feel good enough to get patched up emotionally and head back to the world to fight and come back again the next day was, give me an hour of your time, I'll beat the hell out of you, you'll feel good, your body is changing positively, you feel empowered. And empowerment and positive change are what come from bodybuilding. And I would patch them up, they'd come back the next day ready for another beating. So, it's been a blessing to be able to share that. It's helped me overcome a lot of struggle in my life. And the empowerment that I get from bodybuilding, I think, is the answer to your question.
Okay. If you could go back to when you started the lifting lifestyle, what would you do differently?
Oh man, that's a great question. I probably would have eaten more as a youngster, because I was small, but I wasn't a shredded little guy. I was kind of chubby, little pudgy little kid. I wasn't blessed to be a big fat guy, so I couldn't be the bully, and that would have made probably my ego a lot less delicate. I think as a small guy who was also kind of chubby, I had the struggle of being basically nobody. I was small and chubby, so I didn't have abs and I didn't have size. So I was always motivated to stay lean during the course of my young bodybuilding career. And I think if I could have gone back and done something different, I would have eaten more aggressively to grow than I did. I was always trying to stay lean and grow at the same time, which is not that it can't be done, but you have to be very meticulous. And I definitely didn't eat enough when I was young.
Okay. What have the 212s added to the sport?
Oh man, I think a whole new world of conditioning as a priority. The presentation has become stronger. I think classic division has also done that, or is doing that now with the sport, where everybody's got to pay attention to presentation. I think it's given life to a lot of pros that were otherwise just not quite big enough to hang with the Jay Cutlers and the Phil Heaths. I know for me, I never would be probably competing. Not like I am now. I'm super excited. I did an open show at the Pro Cal last 5 weeks ago, and it was amazing because I came in the best shape of my life, and I'm standing against Nathan Diasha and Steve Colescott and Big Eddie Bracamontes, and I look like nothing, but I felt good about it because I was standing with these monsters, but there's no competitive goal for me. And then, my coach and I said, well, let's put you in a few more 212 shows and really see what you can do. Because now that my body is maturing, it gives me a whole new opportunity to get out there and really continue to play at the elite level. These guys are amazing. The 212 guys bring the conditioning. They're shredded. They bring the shape and the balance. The top of that genetic filter we talked about.
Okay. The lineup here at the Chicago Wings of Strength. Who do you think is your top competition, and what are your goals on this trip?
Man. Well, Tricky's amazing. He's got reputation. I've competed with Tricky many times as an amateur and a couple times as a pro. He poses like a monster, like no other. Just beautiful, beautiful physique. If he doesn't come in good shape, my conditioning is good this year. I'm in good condition. John Meadows has got some momentum going. Mark Dugdale just came off a win, I think in Alaska, and he's a guy that I've always aspired to look like because his physique is so beautiful. And I feel that we have similar lines and structure, a little more straight up and down, and overall flow and balance without having the crazy taper and exaggerated lines. He's going to be very strong in this competition. There's a few other couple of new guys coming in. Thomas Lanahan is a monster out of the light heavies from the USA's last year. And if he brings a condition like he did when he turned pro last year, and his shape is really pretty also. He's got some huge legs and a really good back. He'll do well. But I think, you know what, if I can come in shape, I've got a little bit more drying out to do, and I want to keep my quads activated, and that's been a challenge this year. I'm going to hold my own, and I feel like I can push any of these guys. None of them, in my opinion, from my perspective, if I'm on my top game, are outside the realm of beatable or reachable. I'm very excited to be able to stand on stage with all of these guys. They're just incredible athletes, and so I'm going to do the best I can and bring my best game too, because it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. I'm excited.
Okay. And what do you think you need to improve to continue climbing up in the pro ranks?
I've been working really hard this year to bring down my midsection, bring down my waist, ab discipline. Genetically, I've always been a little bit blockier, and knowing that. So, I've also dealt with some plantar fasciitis in the past year, which is really, I don't want to say that it's inhibited my leg growth as much, but it's allowed me more time to put size on my upper body. So now my upper body overpowers my lower body, which used to be the other way around. So we've kind of gone over on one side. So in the upcoming shows in the upcoming year, we'll work on midsection, and we'll work on ab discipline, and we'll also continue to work on balancing out the overall X frame, bring my legs and my sweep back around. And then one of the things that I found when I was trying to get into the to get into the light heavyweights as an amateur, I'd look really good about 3 weeks out, and then certain parts of my body would fall off as I started coming down to make weight. With the 212s now, I didn't have to worry about that. So my upper body really holds mass well. And depending on the cardio and the program as a prep for the contest, if I can stay leaner during the course of the entire year, which is a goal for me this year, I think I'll have less work to do, and I can keep my legs healthier as my body works to balance itself.
What is it that you love about bodybuilding?
God, everything. Bodybuilding is such a powerful lifestyle because it's an empowering lifestyle. Like I talked about in one of the earlier questions you had. If the rest of the world is falling apart, you can go in the gym and 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. And you can depend on the fact that if you follow your plan, follow your diet, listen to your coach or to your own plan that you've devised, do the training, put in the hard work, it's going to pay off. That doesn't happen with a lot of things in life. A lot of times in life you depend on other people, you depend on a team, or you depend on situations, or you even depend on genetics. But you can overcome just about anything when it's you against you, and you continue to make your improvements day by day. That's the beauty of bodybuilding to me. It's just you are empowered. It's all your power's in your hands. You do. Your success really only depends on you and the amount of knowledge that you can surround yourself with, talking to people, learning from pros, learning from people who've been there, who've done it. Success leaves clues, as I think Anthony Robbins used to say that. But so you follow people who've been successful from their hard work, not necessarily from their genetic gifts, and you learn from them. But bodybuilding always pays off.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
For more great videos, click on the links attached and get more info from Midwest Muscle Report.